YouTube, what's good? Frost here, and the moment we were waiting for is finally arriving. After an entire season of waiting, we now know when we can farm for the Rose hand cannon. This video is going to break down everything you need to know about the Rose so that you can be prepared in the new season and actually get the 5 out of 5, because if you're like me, we never really got the God roll, and most of you probably never even had a chance to actually get one. Let me go ahead and give you some context as to why many of us are excited and looking forward to the Rose, and it's getting its own dedicated video here. Well, Rose, without a doubt, is considered to be the best hand cannon in the game. And that is saying something because there is so much competition, right? We have Ayas Luna, Allstringer, Kept Confidence, and the recently added hand cannon, Ignier's Hammer, which is a stat monster in itself. That hand cannon in particular has been appearing in the Trials Weekend's top 10 constantly, and the Rose is still really popular, but like I've already mentioned before, not many people have it, and if they did have one, it's not even the 5 out of 5, which nowadays it feels like you need a 5 out of 5 hand cannon to compete against some of the top dogs in the meta, like Immortal, Shayura's, some top tier pulse rifles, the list goes on. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and break down the November 9th tweet where they explain to us how we can get our hands on the Rose. I'll break it all down for you. So let's go ahead and read. When we introduced unique weapons for competitive rewards, we were keen to make sure that folks had very cool, powerful, and ultimately attainable weapons for competitive play right out of the box. Lo and behold, that's exactly what we got, with Rose and Mercurial Overreach both showing up among the top 10 weapons used in trials across many weekends these last few seasons, which is absolutely correct. I kept seeing Mercurial and Rose appearing. They're just really good weapons, so I'm not completely surprised there. However, there's a pretty clear elephant in the room. Anyone who wasn't there for those 2 initial seasons doesn't have access to some of the most reliable guns in the sandbox once those weapons have gone away. Enter competitive focusing, which is basically FOMO, guys. Many of us that didn't get the 5 out of 5 or just didn't get to play the season that Rose was available, we're just sitting there waiting. Come on, Bungie, where is my Rose? Give me a chance. Thankfully, they have an answer. Let's go ahead and keep reading. This focusing system breaks some new ground for us. We wanted to make sure that we didn't lose the identity of these weapons as being part of the Crucible, and most importantly, as the reward for climbing the competitive ladder, which I absolutely love to read, guys, because I don't want to just play quick play and get the God roll Rose, right? I want to make sure I earn it from the comp playlist. It feels more satisfying. Anyways, it also stood to reason that if folks were going to earn these weapons, we'd want them to be active in the competitive scene the same way players earn focus rewards from other modes like Iron Banner, Nightfall, or Trials. This is huge, guys, because this is going to help the population in comp for those that actually like playing that mode 3v3, getting sweaty. It's more fun when you actually play different players and there's faster queue times. Anyways, we consider the possibility of another cipher or using a different currency that tied into the identity of these weapons, such as Ascendant Alloys, which would have been a terrible idea. I am so broke on Ascendant Alloys. They shouldn't add these like routes of grinding for stuff that we can't even get from the Crucible. I'd have to go play weekly story missions. Screw that. Ultimately, we decided that since these rewards were for testing yourself against tough opponents and working your way up the ladder, participating in the competitive should be the key to earning them. Starting in Season 23, all retired competitor rewards will be available to focus from Shaxx's Legacy Crucible focusing menu. However, it's not as simple as having the engrams on hand. Shaxx expects you to test your metal too. You will only be able to focus them once you have completed your placement matches. Unlike other focusing options, you will be limited to a number of weekly focuses based on the highest rank you have achieved so far this season. Let's go ahead and keep reading. This cap on how many you may focus can be changed mid-week, but only if you rank up. Every week to keep focusing, you're also going to have to finish your weekly matches. Don't worry though, we won't ever decrease the number of weekly focuses you get during a single season. The max rank you earn will always be what we count against, so if you have a rough week or an unlucky streak, you won't be punished at the prize counter, which is solid. Definitely gonna help some of you guys continue playing comp and not be scared to lose some points. Last but not least, the prize. These weapons are intended to be some of the most reliable weapons for Crucible play, and as such, we consider their value to players similar to Adept weapons. Since Guardians are committing themselves to regular engagement in the competitive play, the going rate for focusing these weapons will be 3 Crucible engrams and 25,000 Glimmer. As always, we're going to continue monitoring and adjusting the drop rates of materials and engrams to ensure that players at all levels can reasonably spend their competitive focusing uses. Now, get out there and make Shax proud. There you have it. The focusing cost is just going to be 3 engrams and 25,000 glimmer. I'm not too concerned about the glimmer, but the 3 crucible engrams, I don't know how much time it's going to take to actually get those, considering that they're actually slowing down the rate of these engrams in next season. All in all, this is great news for the people that never got a 5 out of 5 God Roll Rose or even got one single Rose Hand Cannon to begin with. I know myself, I've been using a non-God Roll, just waiting this entire time, and every time I die to a Rose Hand Cannon, I inspect them only to see people with like 5 kills on their hand cannon, and it's a complete God Roll. If you're one of those people, in the comment section, let me know if you have a God Roll or what would be considered a God Roll, and you just don't care to use it at all. With that breakdown out of the way, hopefully you understand what's to come in terms of farming for the Rose Hand Cannon. I want to shift your focus onto the weapon perks so that you know which ones to hunt for, and afterwards I can tell you my 5 out of 5 that I'm hunting for personally. As for the barrels, I see 3 obvious picks. It's either going to be small bore for range and stability, hammer forge for just range, and then full bore if you really want max range but you will lose stability, which you have to note you're going to have more intensity of flinch, and then of course the weapon will kick more. Some people don't really care, like myself. In terms of the magazine, there's only one clear pick for me, and that's accurized rounds. There is some arguments to be made about steady rounds for the additional AE, but I hate the system. I think it's trash. I don't think it's worth investing into that at all. Alright, the first column is going to be a bit complicated because there's so many good perks. I mean, I only see one that I wouldn't want to use in this perpetual motion. All the other ones are viable perks, but if I had to pick 3, it would be rapid hit, quick draw, and slide shot in no particular order. In the next column, again, same thing, we have a good amount of perks here. I did mention rangefinder is not as popular as before, but it still doesn't make it bad. But there's some other ones that I would prefer, such as opening shot, Eye of the Storm, and if it wasn't for checkmate, I would say explosive rounds, as it's not a bad perk in normal Crucible play, but seeing that Bungie is aggressively pushing this new mode, explosive rounds are actually kind of bugged in that system because they count as body shot damage, so you do not get 3 taps at all, which is definitely lame. But if Bungie goes ahead and states that they're going to fix that issue, then you can go ahead and hunt for explosive rounds as well. As for the stocks, here gets complicated. So we have ways to buffer handling, ways to buffer stability, and I think for me there's only one way to really go, and that's just go max handling with polymer grip, plus 10 handling. If you want stability as well, there's obviously options for that too with heavy grip, so you can boost the stability if you don't care about handling, especially if you're someone that plays Warlock with a Phidian aspect, and that just bumps your handling so much that you don't care about the stat here. And then obviously the last pick would be texture grip, because that just gives me max handling. If you're someone like a Titan, don't care about stability, this will help you feel much faster as you're playing PvP. Alright, so I covered all the perks that would be good on the Rose. Sweet. What is my 5 out of 5? So after, experimenting with a couple different roles and seeing where the meta stands now, and using some of my existing Rose hand cannons, I know exactly what I want, and that's going to be a combination of hammer forge, so I can get the plus 10 range. Again, I don't care about stability, so give me the plus 10 instead of just a plus 7. Next up, accurized rounds for another plus 10 range. And then the first column, I have to go with the double plus S tier slide shot perk. Every time I slide, I get a boost to my stability and range. This is plus 20 range and plus 30 stability for 3 seconds, or until I start firing. This is basically opening shot on demand. I love this so much as someone that wants to slide around corners, slide in the gunfights. It helps me be less of an easier target to hit, so slide shot is so good. But again, not everyone has that playstyle, so I understand if you don't like that. Again, this is my god roll. In the next column, I really want opening shot. Normally I would use rangefinder, but considering that I don't care too much about that anymore, I love the accuracy boost that I get on opening shot. That is going to give us from 73 basically to 98 range, which is just amazing. As for the stock, I am definitely going for polymer grip, so I can get plus 10 handling with no downsides. I love the feeling of the hand cannon being snappy, switching weapons fast. It really helps, especially because nowadays I can't stack like double dexterity mods on my gauntlet, so I can swap to my shotgun faster or my sniper. So the handling on the hand cannon itself is a pretty big deal. Last but not least, it's going to be the range master work. So in the end, I'm looking at a 73 range, 70 handling, 45 stability hand cannon roll. Once I proc slide shot, I'm going to jump to 93 range and 75 stability. With opening shot, of course, that's going to max out the range. And you're going to say, why would you stack these two perks? It doesn't really matter. Well, it does in practical play, because when I'm peeking a corner not sliding, I can rely on opening shot getting me to 98 range. If I already shot one bullet, then I can keep sliding in the middle of my gunfights to re-proc that additional range, jump into 93. And not only is the range important here, but that stability is going to feel amazing when entering any particular duel. And this is from, you know, someone already experimenting with slide shot, opening shot quite a bit. It's definitely an insane perk combination. Well, squad, that's pretty much all I got for you. I hope that managed to help you out by breaking down that twid, and now you have a clear idea of what you need to do in the new season when trying to farm for the God Roll Rose. And speaking of God Rolls, hopefully now you have a clearer picture of what perks to get on this hand cannon, and if you want to be just like me and get my specific roll, you also know exactly what to get now. I absolutely love this hand cannon, and I look forward to getting the best possible roll, maybe even add some more videos to the already existing 15 comp hunting for rose comp videos. Yeah, we did 15 videos of that. That was crazy. So well, hopefully it doesn't take me too long to get that actual God roll. Anyways, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.